So I got you, people. So I'm gonna talk about a particular group and a particular stock market. Is called AMC, right? It's a movie theater company that owns theaters worldwide, right? I'm sure you know about the AMC, the logo, and these people, a group of people, and young man, young kids, a lot of people got in, women's, people from all walk of lives got into it because, as you know, a group of people from Reddit, they were called Reddit, and they were also in the stock market, and they had false short sellers. You got to look it up what that means because I ain't gonna go through all that, right? People that short the stock, bet against it, and was bringing the stock down. So this group of people called the Reddits had joined together and had forced the stock market to go up, right? A bullish, they call it. And it ran up. And all those people that invested in this, they call it the play, they have made the short sellers lose a lot of money. And a lot of these people that betted against the shorts, people that were shorting the stocks, that means that was bringing it down, that was taking money out, and the short was dropping, but that was betting on it, and the stock was going up, right? So these people make money, and the company, people and investors that have money in the market had lost millions and trillions because these Reddit group of people were going against them, and they succeeded. And then another group tried to do this again, and you know that history doesn't repeat itself. And these particular people are called the apes. I'm not talking about real apes like chimpanzees, gorillas, silverbacks. No, these are really human people that they call themselves apes for whatever reason. I guess they jump around and things like that, monkey hopping, they disorderly, they're all over the place. So these apes were trying to do the same thing to this particular stock called AMC, right? So they was trying to bet to with the stock to bring this stock up, right? They was calling it a squeeze play, a short squeeze play, but it kept on going on, and a lot of people was buying stocks first. They was buying and telling people, buy and hold, whatever you can, keep on buying. So a lot of people was influenced by this, but the thing is that there was a lot of betting on hope and dreams, right? Because the people in the market already knew that it happened to them once with the Reddits, and it was not gonna happen again. So these group of people called the apes were trying to do the same thing, but it outlasted them. People was joining, they was losing hope, because everything was they was investing in hope and dreams. There was no real factual things that was gonna happen. They couldn't control the market. The market, it doesn't work the way you think it is electronically. It works on information and certain things that happen in the trade and events that could change the stock from going up or going down. So these people would just buy and holding, and they would get other subscribers to join in to bet with them and join them in this quest. And then it's supposed to be the Moas, the mother of all squeeze, I think it is, things like that. So people was joining. I joined because it was a opportunity for me to make money. I was in it for the money, not to get rich and hold things, hold the stock up and things like that, or try to manipulate the stocks, right? How it works or what it should be doing. So these people were trying to do that to this market, and it didn't work out well for them. So right after that, the Moas, they started coming out with the transfer of wealth, the wealth transfer from the rich to the poor and the middle class. So a lot of people was joining in and buying MC shares, and they didn't work out good for them because there was a reverse split, and it was a 10-to-1 for every stock you heard. You had 1,000 for every 10 shares, you get one. So you probably from 1,000, you probably have 500. So they cut them off, and it was a lot of things going on, and they thought by writing to the SEC, the Security Exchange Commission, that they would look into it, but it wasn't no stock manipulations. A lot of things was going on that was blaming the dark pool and things like that. If you remember, they was always blaming the dark pool, and then the devils, I think it was blaming on too. The devils, I don't know. These people was coming up with all kinds of crazy delusional stuff that it didn't work in the market, right? It had no business in the market. They thought they knew it all. They thought they had their ins and outs. They thought they did their homework, like they said, and all they had to wait for the market to squeeze. What that means to squeeze, like to break out and just go on the green instead of staying on the red. A bullish run, they call it, right? Instead of being bearish all the time, because somebody was saying that they was dropping the whales, they call it, right? When a whale drops, it splashes back down. So they were thinking that there was a lot of people against them and trying to bring the market down, and they were trying to bring it up. So it was a fight between the apes and the short sellers. So, but they got their dreams shattered because it wasn't realistic. They think they can control the market and things like that. And when the market is out there trying to protect the company, they have all the legal means to do whatever they can to keep they stock on the market. It's got to be a threshold. They cannot go under $5. Besides that, they got a warning. If it goes below $5, and the stock will be removed, and it's hard to get it back in the market. So they was doing reverse splits on them, and they was losing money and things like that. And they was fighting and voting for not to take a reverse split. But what happens with a reverse split? They lower your holdings, your shares. Like if you had 1,000, you get 5,000, but the market will go up. Instead of being shares for $5, that will go up now maybe $10 or $15. But you lost on shares because your shares went down, but the stock price went up. But these man was all delusional, because that was just doing things on hopes and dreams. That wasn't realistic. And they had a lot of people joining that they had in groups that had subscribed to them. They tell them to invest their money. And a lot of people invested their money, even me, but I wasn't there to try to manipulate the stock. You can't manipulate anything that's electronically that you don't have control of, And they was talking about the switch every time something happened critical. Like if the corporation, the company knew that something was gonna go sour for them, they will freeze your orders to buy or to sell. So you couldn't trade or sell. You couldn't sell your stock to get out, even if it was in the green. They would shut it down. They would call it a quarter switch, and nobody was allowed to trade, buy, or sell. So a lot of people lost opportunity. And what I was thinking is, and a lot of people on my group, we were older, so we wouldn't really compensate with the younger people that was in the market, because they wouldn't think. They thought they knew it all and things like that, and they lost a lot of money. So when the stock reached what it did squeeze, but not a lot, it went on the green, I bailed out. I took my money and left, and a lot of people kept on holding. Why? Because the people that was manipulating them and telling them to hold and buy more and hold into zero, they sold out, they cashed out, they got out with millions, and the ones that stood thinking there was going to be a wealth change, right, in history in the stock market, they lost everything, because then they couldn't go out because the market and AMC crashed again, and it went low. Right now, it was like 95. It went to $1.11, but they had lost everything, and now I think they're trying to make a comeback. And this YouTuber called Tanko Native is shouting out all the other apes that they shouldn't be talking about any stocks anymore because they ruined a lot of people's lives. A lot of money got lost because they was pumping this, like they say, or selling a dream. and people were going for it because everybody wants to make money, but it wasn't realistically. I wouldn't just say that they talking diarrhea at their mouth and they slipping, right? They slipping on their own diarrhea, and things didn't go well for them. Now, I used to always write in their comments that AMC is in the grave and they didn't like me and things like that. They was you don't know what you're talking about, get out. But I made my money, I got out, and they lost their money. And the people that really made money and went on this rich trip were the Kansas Five. Now, I'm not gonna mention the names of the Kansas Five because everybody should know. If you was in this game that they call it a play and the stock market in the AMC, you should know who the Kansas Five were, and that they got out with millions, and they went to Las Vegas and they did a party and they left all their subscribers, all their followers that are supposed to be rich with them, and taking this money from the AMC. None of them was invited. Only the Kansas Five have sold when they went on the green, where they was telling everybody else to hold, that's not the MOAS, to hold on and keep on buying, that's not the MOAS, it's just getting started. But these five cashed out, they got rich and left all the other apes stranded with nothing. And now it's another saga. They're trying to come back, I don't know to what, because AMC will never get out of its debt or in the hole that they're in right now. And anybody that was in the AMC trying to get this wealth transfer, it's not going to get no transfer of riches to them, because they had lost their opportunity, and these people were delusional on their quest to try to make a stock market that was made to generate money for the companies. And you just a low investor, you don't hold no securities in the exchange. You're just a common stock investor, and those common stocks, if anything goes wrong, you don't get nothing because you don't have no security on these stocks. You're a loose change investor. That's what I used to call it, a loose change investor. In my old videos when I first started, that's I used to call these AMC apes loose change investors, because they was just investing with loose change. While they was buying 5, 10, these people that really bet on this market was betting millions. And that's why you see the stock change and the green, and then it would go red. But these people already knew they was betting shorting the stocks. That's why they was making millions. And the eights were trying to make the stock squeeze that to break out of the shorts and go on the green, but it never happened. And they lost all their money, and now they try to make a comeback. And this YouTuber out there called Tanko Native is bringing them all out, because he's telling them that, I don't know why you're coming back. You're idiots. You have lost once, and you're going to try to make a comeback, and you're going to lose again. You shouldn't be out here try to promote AMC again, try to get more followers, or these new guys that come in, like they had grabbed these new people that didn't know nothing about it, and they joined in, and they lost all their money because of them selling them hopes and dreams, which is a lie. Everything they was selling you was a persona, like Tanko Native say. It was an illusion just to catch subscribers, followers. And the thing is that they was getting paid, not only, they wasn't getting paid by the stock market. They was getting paid by YouTube, because they was pumping a lie to their followers. So I don't think anybody out there should be listening to these apes and give you advice on the AMC stock market again, because they have lost everything. They're trying to get their money back, but they're not going to get that back. That particular stock is history, and you're never going to get your money back. The best thing that you could do is keep on making videos, and that's the only way you're going to get paid, because I don't think AMC is paying anybody just to make videos on AMC and try to bring the stock up again and have another catastrophe that more people are going to lose money in this particular stock. And with that, people, I'll let you go and you think about that.